My fiancé, 29F, bought a Tesla with the $15,000 I gave her for her business. Just found out she's been using it for dates with another man. I, 32M, feel like an idiot. I'm sitting in my car outside a Starbucks right now because I can't go home and pretend everything is normal. My brain feels like it's running through quicksand trying to process what I discovered today. 3 hours ago, I was scrolling Instagram during my lunch break when I saw a story from this personal trainer named Ethan, who I don't follow but somehow ended up in my feed. He posted this video of himself and a woman in a white Tesla Model 3, captioned saying, "Road trip with my girl." The woman was my fiancée, Sable. The Tesla was the car I helped her buy 4 months ago with 15 grand I'd saved from working overtime shifts. She told me it was a business investment, that she needed reliable transportation to meet clients for her consulting company, that public transit was holding her back from real opportunities. I believed her. Of course I fucking believed her. So I called her about 30 minutes ago. "Hey babe, quick question. Whose car were you in on Ethan's Instagram story?" Long pause. "What are you talking about?" "Ethan posted a video of you two in a Tesla. Looked like the one we bought for your business." Another pause then. "Blake, I don't know what you think you saw, but you're being paranoid. Ethan's just my trainer from the gym." "I'm not paranoid, Sable. I'm looking at the video right now. It's clearly you. It's clearly the car we bought together, and he's calling you his girl." "You're being ridiculous. That's not even my car in the video." "But here's the thing. I'm a software engineer. I notice details. The car had this small dent on the passenger side mirror that happened 2 weeks after we bought it when she clipped a parking garage wall. Same dent. Same car. Sable, the license plate is visible in the video. It's your car." The line went quiet for so long I thought she'd hung up. "We need to talk when you get home," she finally said. That was 2 hours ago. I've been sitting here since then, trying to figure out how I got to this point. 3 years together. 3 years of me supporting her dreams, covering her rent when her consulting clients didn't pay on time, buying groceries when her bank account was empty again. 3 years of believing that she was building something real and just needed someone to believe in her. I kept spreadsheets of everything I gave her. Not because I was keeping score, but because I'm methodical about money and wanted to make sure I could help when she needed it. Rent assistance, car repairs, medical bills, business equipment, marketing materials, the Tesla down payment. It adds up to about $47,000 over 3 years. $47,000 of my money funding what appears to be her relationship with someone else. My sister Amelia has been telling me for 2 years that something felt off about Sable's financial situation. She's always broke but always has money for new clothes, she'd say. Her story doesn't add up, Blake. I defended Sable every time, told Amelia she didn't understand entrepreneurship, that building a business takes time, that I was investing in our future together. But sitting here now, looking at that Instagram video of my fiancé calling another man her boyfriend while driving the car I bought, I'm starting to think my sister understood something I refused to see. The worst part is the timeline. I've been working 60-hour weeks for the past 6 months to save for our wedding and a down payment on a house. I've been eating lunch at my desk, skipping drinks with friends, turning down weekend trips, all so I could build something stable for us. And she's been using that stability to fund whatever this is with Ethan. I don't even know what questions to ask when I get home. How long has this been going on? Was any of it real? Did she ever actually care about me? Or was I just a convenient source of financial support while she figured out what she actually wanted? The really fucked up part is that I still love her. Or I love who I thought she was. I can't tell the difference anymore. Reddit, what the hell do I do here? Do I try to work this out? Do I demand she pay me back? Do I just cut my losses and run? I feel like the biggest sucker alive right now. Update 1. Thanks for the reality check, Reddit. You guys helped me see what I couldn't see clearly on my own. So I went home that night and had the conversation. It went about as well as you'd expect. I walked in around 8 p.m. and found her on the couch with her laptop, looking completely normal, like nothing had happened. "Hey," she said, not looking up from her screen. "How was your day? We need to talk about this morning." She sighed and closed the laptop. "Blake, you're making a big deal out of nothing. Ethan and I are friends. We hang out. That's what friends do." I sat down across from her and pulled up the Instagram video on my phone. Friends don't usually call each other my girl on social media. It's just how he talks. It doesn't mean anything. Sable, I'm not stupid. How long have you been seeing him? That's when her whole demeanor changed. The fake confusion dropped and she got this look I'd never seen before. Cold, almost annoyed that I was making her explain herself. Fine. Ethan and I have been together for about 8 months. But it's not what you think. What I think is that you've been cheating on me for 8 months while I've been working overtime to pay for your life. It's not cheating. We never had an exclusive conversation about, we're engaged, Sable. We live together. We've been planning a wedding. What the fuck do you mean we never talked about being exclusive? She was quiet for a minute. Then, I didn't plan for this to happen. I met Ethan at the gym, we connected, and things just developed naturally. Using the car I bought you. The car you invested in my business. I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. Your business? What business? You haven't had a client in 6 months. You spend your days at the gym and coffee shops with your boyfriend. That's not fair. Building a business takes time. 3 years, Sable. I've been supporting you for 3 years. When exactly was this business going to start making money? She got defensive then. You offered to help. I never asked you to keep track of every dollar. I wasn't keeping track to use against you. I was keeping track because I wanted to help someone I loved build something real. That's when she said something that's been stuck in my head for days. Maybe the problem is that you assumed I wanted to build something with you. I just stared at her. We're engaged. We got engaged because you wanted to get engaged. I went along with it because it felt like the next step, but I was never sure it was what I actually wanted. The conversation kept going for another hour, but that was the moment I knew it was over. Not because of Ethan, not because of the money, but because she'd been performing the relationship for months, maybe years, while I thought we were building a life together. Here's where it gets really fucking rich, though. After explaining that she's been unsure about our relationship for months and is in love with someone else, she asked if I could keep helping with her expenses while she figures things out. I still need to eat, she said. And the car payment is due next week. The car payment for the car you're using to date your boyfriend? It's a business expense. We had an agreement. Our agreement was based on you actually being my partner and actually running a business. She started crying then, saying I was being vindictive and financially abusive, that love shouldn't come with strings attached. I told her I'd transfer her half of our joint account balance, and she had a week to find somewhere else to live. 2 days later, Ethan texted me. I don't know how he got my number, but his message was incredible. Blake, I know this is awkward, but Sable's really struggling right now. She invested so much in her business and doesn't have a safety net. Could you consider continuing to help her transition? I screenshotted that and sent it to my sister Amelia, who responded with, the audacity of these people is actually impressive. But here's what's really been messing with my head. I spent 3 years thinking I was being a good partner, supporting someone I loved through a difficult time. Turns out I was just an ATM with feelings who was convenient until something better came along. The engagement ring is still sitting on my dresser. I paid $8,000 for it last year. Money I could have saved for my own future instead of investing in someone who was already planning her exit strategy. I keep thinking about all the times I skipped things I wanted to do because money was tight. All the times I worked extra hours so I could help her. All the conversations where she'd tell me how much my support meant to her. Was any of it real, or was I just funding an elaborate performance? Update 2. The lawyer meeting was enlightening. Turns out verbal agreements about business investments are legally murky, especially when you're in a romantic relationship. Unless I can prove intent to defraud from the beginning, getting my money back through legal channels is unlikely. But, he said, looking through my documentation, you've got excellent records. If she tries to claim any of your assets or comes after you financially, you're well protected. Good to know, I guess. Meanwhile, Sable moved out last weekend. The process was surreal. She packed like she was going on vacation, not ending a 3-year relationship. Took her clothes, some furniture, and left behind everything that reminded me how much money I'd spent on her life. The expensive yoga equipment, the MacBook Pro I bought for her business, the designer coffee table we picked out together. But here's where things got weird. Her mom called me Tuesday night. Blake, honey, I'm so sorry about how things ended between you and Sable. Thanks, Mrs. Quinn. I appreciate that. I had no idea she was struggling with her identity like this. You've been so good to her. I thought she was being genuinely supportive until she said, "Is there any way you could help her through this transition period? Just until she gets on her feet with Ethan." I actually had to ask her to repeat herself. "You want me to continue financially supporting your daughter while she starts a life with her new boyfriend? It's just temporary. She's been depending on your support for so long, and it's not like Ethan has the income to help right now." "Mom," I said, and it felt weird calling her that now. "She cheated on me. For 8 months. Using money I earned working overtime. I understand you're hurt, but you made a commitment to help her business." I hung up on her. What else was I supposed to do? But the real kicker came yesterday. Ethan called me again. "Blake, I know this is complicated, but Sable's really struggling financially. Could you maybe continue the car payments for a few months? Just until we figure out our situation." "Our situation?" "Well, my lease is up next month and we're thinking about moving in together, but the car payment is making things tight." I started laughing. I couldn't help it. "Ethan, you want me to subsidize your relationship with my ex-fiancé? It's not like that. It's just a car payment. You can afford it." "Whether I can afford it isn't the point." "What's the point then?" "The point is that she used my money to fund her relationship with you, and now you're both acting like I owe you something. You don't have to be mean about it." "Mean about it?" I hung up on her too. That night, I called my sister Amelia and told her about both conversations. "Blake," she said, "I need to tell you something I should have told you years ago." "What?" "Remember when Sable and I went out for drinks that time, about a year ago? She got pretty drunk and started talking about how easy it was to get you to pay for things. She said you were generous to a fault, and that she just had to mention money stress, and you'd offer to help." My stomach dropped. "She said that? I should have told you then, but I thought maybe she was just drunk and saying stupid shit. But now, Blake, I think she's been playing you this entire time." We talked for 2 hours that night. Amelia helped me see patterns I'd been too close to recognize. How Sable would always have some crisis right after I got a bonus at work. How she'd bring up expensive things she needed right after I mentioned having a good month financially. "Remember when she needed that laptop?" Amelia said. "It was the same week you told her about your promotion and the yoga teacher training she had to do? Right after you mentioned your tax refund. I'd been thinking about this for days since that conversation, and honestly, it's been messing with my head more than the actual breakup. The idea that someone could be that calculating, that manipulative, while telling me they loved me every day. My mom called yesterday after Amelia filled her in on everything. "I owe you an apology," she said. "I always liked Sable, thought she was good for you. But looking back, she never talked about your relationship in terms of what she brought to it. It was always about what you provided for her." "What do you mean?" "When we'd talk, she'd mention how stable you were, how you had a good job, how generous you were with money. She never talked about loving your sense of humor, or how smart you are, or anything about who you are as a person." That hit me harder than I expected. I've been going through our old text messages, and Mom was right. Sable's appreciation was always about what I did for her, never about who I was. "Thank you for being so supportive. I'm so lucky to have someone who believes in my dreams. You're always there when I need help. Never 'I love how you make me laugh,' or 'I missed you today,' or any of the things you say when you actually love someone for who they are. The money hurts. $47,000 is a lot of money. But realizing that I was never actually loved for myself, just valued for what I could provide, that's the part that's really fucking me up. I thought I was in a partnership. Turns out I was just a reliable source of funding for someone else's life." Final update. Well, this story took a turn I didn't see coming, though maybe I should have. Sable showed up at my apartment Friday night, crying and asking if we could talk. Against my better judgment, I let her in. "Ethan and I broke up," she said, sitting on the couch where we used to watch movies together. "I'm sorry to hear that." I wasn't, but I was raised to be polite. "Blake, I made a mistake. A huge mistake. I realize now that what we had was real, and I threw it away for something that was just fantasy. What happened with Ethan? He wanted me to move in with him, but when it came time to split expenses, he expected me to pay half of everything. He didn't understand that I'm still building my business and need financial support. I just stared at her. So Ethan wouldn't bankroll your lifestyle, and now you want to come back to someone who would? That's not what this is about, isn't it? She started crying then. The same crying that used to make me want to fix whatever was wrong. This time, it just made me tired. Blake, I was confused about what I wanted, but being with Ethan made me realize how good we were together. You understand me. You support my dreams. You never made me feel bad for needing help. I made you feel bad for needing help? No, that's what I'm saying. You never did. Ethan would question every expense, ask why I couldn't pay for things myself. He made me feel like a burden. And that's when it clicked. The final piece of understanding I needed. Sable, I said. Ethan treated you the way most people treat their partners. He expected you to contribute equally to your shared life. That felt foreign to you because I've been subsidizing your entire existence for 3 years. I wasn't using you. You absolutely were using me. And the fact that you can't see that, even now, tells me everything I need to know. I walked to my desk and pulled out a folder I'd been putting together since she left. 3 years of bank statements, transfers, receipts, everything I'd spent on her life. $47,632, I said. That's what I spent supporting your business and covering your expenses while you figured out what you wanted. She looked at the paperwork like I'd just shown her evidence of a crime. You kept track of everything? I kept track because I wanted to help someone I loved. I didn't realize I was documenting how someone was exploiting my generosity. Blake, that's not fair. I cared about you, did you? Because looking back, I can't find a single conversation where you talked about loving me for who I am instead of what I could provide. She was quiet for a long time. I do love you, she finally said. You love having a safety net. You love having someone who will work overtime so you can pretend to be an entrepreneur. You love the financial security I provide. But you don't love me. How can you say that? Because if you loved me, you wouldn't have spent 8 months fucking someone else while I paid your bills. If you loved me, you wouldn't have brought him to our apartment. If you loved me, you wouldn't be here right now asking me to take you back because your affair partner had realistic financial expectations. I handed her the folder. This is everything I spent on you. I want you to look through it and tell me with a straight face that you were ever planning to pay any of this back. She flipped through a few pages and then put it down. I thought when we got married, it would just be our money. I thought this was investment in our future. Our future. Right up until you decided you wanted a different future with someone else. She left about an hour later, and honestly, I felt lighter than I had in months. Not because the conversation went well, but because it confirmed everything I'd started to understand about our relationship. I wasn't a partner to her. I was a resource. Someone who could fund her lifestyle while she figured out what she actually wanted. When that resource came with expectations, like fidelity, or honesty, or basic respect, it stopped being convenient. The thing that really gets me is how long this probably would have gone on if I hadn't seen that Instagram video. She would have kept taking my money, kept planning a wedding funded by my overtime hours, maybe even gone through with marrying me while maintaining her relationship with Ethan on the side. I spent 3 years thinking I was being a good partner by supporting someone's dreams. What I was actually doing was enabling someone to avoid the reality of adult responsibilities while they shopped around for something better. My sister was right. My mom was right. Hell, my gut was right. I just ignored it because I wanted to be the kind of man who could support his partner's ambitions. But here's what I learned. There's a difference between supporting someone's dreams and funding someone's fantasy. Dreams come with plans, timelines, measurable progress. Fantasies just require someone else's money. I'm doing better now. Started therapy to work through the trust issues this created, which has been helpful. My therapist pointed out that I confused being needed with being loved, and that's something I need to work on before I try dating again. The $47,000 is gone. Lesson learned. But my financial situation is actually improving rapidly now that I'm not covering 2 people's expenses. Funny how that works. I'm taking my first real vacation in years next month. Going to Japan, something I'd been wanting to do but kept putting off because money was tight. Turns out money was only tight because I was supporting someone else's vacation from reality. To any men reading this who see themselves in my story, supporting a partner's goals is wonderful. Funding someone's avoidance of adult responsibility while they explore other relationships is not. Learn to see the difference before you spend 3 years and 50 grand discovering it the hard way. Sometimes the most expensive education you can get is the one that teaches you your own worth.